Okay, measuring the effectiveness of HR policies. Now, we looked at a few HR policies in Unit 2, so financial and non-financial methods of motivation, organisational structures, workforce plans, leadership styles. But it's really important to measure the effectiveness so that you know if you're being as efficient as possible, or that you're using your resources as well as you could be. So whereas looking at, say, capital productivity, which is the productivity of the machines, or capacity utilisation, is a look at the efficiency and productivity of your machinery, or return on capital employed is looking at the productivity of the money that's been invested in the business. Measures of HR effectiveness are looking at how effective are you at dealing with your employees. So you will have looked at some of these 3 different ones from the AS course in Unit 2. So if you need a recap on these, go back to the presentation on productivity from Unit 2. But labour productivity it really should be called average output per worker, because that's what it is. So you're doing output divided by number of workers. And training, should help improve it and should affect it. How motivated your employees are, and the leadership style that works best with them in terms of determining their motivation, and the tools that they have as well will determine how much output they produce. Labour turnover is looking at how many people, this is quite small, isn't it? Shall I see if I can make it a little bit bigger? How many people are how many people are leaving the business each year. So it's number of staff leaving divided by total number of staff times by 100, so this would be a percentage. And again, motivation, leadership style would affect it. Your pay, or also known as remuneration, would affect it. The working conditions probably would lead to motivation, or it would be a hygiene factor according to Hertzberg. Competitor offers as well. Sometimes there are external reasons that employees leave, but sometimes it might be just the age of the workforce coming up to retirement, or I wouldn't, the composition of your workforce. So if you do have a lot of people working for your organisation, aged between 20 and 35 or 40, and a lot of them are female, you're probably going to be affected by maternity leave a bit more than an organisation that was all male. Having said that, daddies get paternity leave, so not quite as long as maternity leave, but they will get paternity leave, so that will affect the business. But also, maternity leave is transferable now. There's new government legislation, so we should see less of a trend in it just being women taking the 6 months or the year off. And also absenteeism, so number of staff absent divided by total number of staff, and motivation, stress, working conditions, leadership styles can affect that as well, and maybe the policies as well on whether you get paid or not when you're absent. So that's a little bit determined by the law, but there is some sense of goodwill sometimes that comes into that. So how could why does labour productivity matter? Well, the more you produce, imagining that you're not paying your workers on a piece rate, so you're paying them on a set salary, the more they produce, the better quality they produce, the lower your average costs are per product that you're producing. So it is very important. It's going to affect your profit margins, and hopefully what could improve it is the training, the level of machinery, maybe financial, non-financial methods of motivation, so financial being possibly bonuses or commission or piece rate systems, or just kind of fringe benefits or things like that might improve their motivation. But non-financial methods of motivation could be empowerment, job enrichment, job enlargement, team working, and leadership styles should determine as well how productive the employees are. In terms of labour turnover, well, if someone's leaving, you've got to recruit someone new. That's going to cost you. You've got to train them up. You're going to lose skills and experience from the person that's going. And if lots of people are leaving in droves, it might make it hard to recruit new people because the reputation of the business may suffer. So again, all the same things can affect these types of this element that I've just So all of these things could affect, again, labour turnover. So think about to Unit 2, leadership styles and motivation styles. And then finally, absenteeism. Why is that important? Well, you probably, according to law, it depends how long the employee's been working for you, but probably you're going to have to pay them even though they're absent. And you're going to need to cover the absence. And some people in a business, there's only one of them. So maybe, you know, there's the finance person and you can't do the job until the finance person gets back. So that's going to be cause a bottleneck and cause stoppages. So again, motivation, leadership and empowerment might reduce the chance of absenteeism. But I'm going to add working conditions, because it might not be someone just, you know, staying off work because they're stressed. Or, you know, because they don't really want to go into work because they don't like it. It might be more, as I said before, stress or poor ventilation that's causing them to get, you know, ill, or poor, you know, a lot of businesses now have hand cleanser by the doors so they can reduce the spread of germs. Now, isn't that nice of them, you could say? Well, yes, that's good. It reduces the spread of germs in society, but it's also because they don't want their employees getting colds and, you know, coughs and colds and things like that. So because they don't want them to be absent.